Obviously, an extremely disappointing outcome. It's about as frustrated as I've been since I've been here. We shot ourselves in the foot so many times early on in that first half. Our inability to play well on third downs on defense throughout the entire game was pretty evident. Red zone offense was really poor. We had the 2 missed field goal attempts and the penalties we had that pushed drives back, that put us in holes early in the game where we left points on the field. Extremely disappointing. That's a game that we fully expect and should win, and we did not. So we've got some work to do. We got to come in tomorrow and refocus on the next one, but there's definitely some things that we're going to have to do to adjust. We've got to be a better defensive football team, and offensively we have to take advantage of when we have the ball in those short fields. That's a game we need to come out and we need to win. And hats off to Coach London and his guys. They came out, made the long trip. They were fired up, executed at a high level, played with an extreme amount of passion, and they came in here and won a big game for them.
Why were defensive adjustments so difficult as the game continued?
Well, early on, we were a little off kilter. You kind of saw that. They ran at a high-speed tempo, a couple formations, things we hadn't seen. Defense, for the most part, played fairly well in the first half. You think about it, 7 points is a turnover on offense. In the second half, we came out strong early on, and then we wore down, did a really bad job of protecting the edge, did a bad job of defending the split zone towards the end of the game. And really, if you look at it, our tackling was really poor. The amount of missed tackles we had throughout the course of the night really put us in tough situations, and you're just not going to win football games unless you tackle better. So we've got some serious work to do on defense.
In a game that had 23 total penalties for almost 200 yards, how do you try to find a balance between keeping your guys intense and keeping your guys pushing the tempo, knowing that the game is being called so tightly?
Yeah, early on in the game, the penalties really hurt us. The second half, not so much, but in the first half, those penalties really stalled drives out. And it wasn't just penalties. We had a center exchange issue, a false start on our center one time. Kyle Sachs had jumped off sides another time. So instead of a third and short situation, now you're third and long, and I believe we were 2 of 6 in the first half on third downs, and 2 of those were a direct reflection of penalties. So we got to do a better job now. We settled down. There were a lot of personal fouls and stuff like that towards the end of the game, but that's something both sides got to clean up.
Is there anything you can do about the defense at this point, or do you just have to
Well, yes, there's a lot we can do. It's week 1 of an 11-week schedule. There's a lot of games we can go out there and win. We're going to have to emotionally recover from this game, but it's not going to be come on, guys, we're going to get better. It's going to be putting our foot down and firming stuff up. And we're gonna do a hard job, evaluating as a staff tomorrow. Guys that came out and performed at a high level. Our tackling, again, was not very good. I thought we were poor in space at times. From one series to the next, we looked inept at times. Towards that latter part of the third quarter and early in the fourth quarter, the first half. We really struggled on defense. We had the one turnover that resulted in a touchdown a little bit later, but again, it's something that we need to see improvement in year 3. On that side of the ball, and tonight we didn't see it.
One of your big disappointments that a lot of mistakes seem to be unforced, jumping off sides, muff kick, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the muff kick, that freshman back there. I'm not going to put it on him. We need to talk about that tomorrow, why he was in that situation. He wasn't in there earlier in the game. So obviously at the end of the day, that does fall on me. So I got to find out, what was going on in that situation. But that was a poor decision to have him come in at that point. And yeah, we just got to get better, man.
I believe it was four different series when you guys started the drive on their side of the 50 and only came away with 6 points. Going forward, how do you correct something like that?
Well, you clean up the penalties. That's the biggest thing. When you looked at yardage in the first half, we outgained them by almost 130 some odd yards. You look on the night, and yards don't win football games. We outgained them 564 yards to 449. We struggle putting the ball in the end zone. At the end of the day, all these guys that talk about we average this stat on offense. There's no stat that makes a damn difference other than points on the board, right? You can have all the yards in the world. If you don't score points when it counts, then you're not going to win games. So we got to do a better job of holding people down, and we got to do a better. Points. Yards. Again, you look at that. Well, that should result in a lot more points.
Tell me, speaking of stats, you were Some people had just 45-point favorites. This is one of the biggest upsets in college football history. What do you say to UNLV football fans who think, here we go again?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's disappointing, and I feel bad for all those UNLV fans that, have struggled for a long time. Season's not over, and at the end of the day, this is a week-to-week business. It's my job to get everybody back on track and going. Inside of a football building, inside of an athletic building, no matter what sport you play, we don't listen to all the outside noise. You can't worry about that stuff. I mean, there are plenty of teams that, got upset and had bad games, and, there's a lot of teams that were in jeopardy of losing to 1AA teams this week, and, we all got to respond, especially the ones that ended up on this side of it. So nobody knows, at the end of the day, where you should end up. Again, we expect to win a game like this. I would definitely understand the frustration of the fans. I would definitely understand the frustration of people that have been, Rebel supporters in a game like this. We talked about it earlier in the week. These are games that have been kind of a thorn in the side of UNLV for many years. We kind of correct that the last couple, but this was a good team that came out and played hard. And you know what? That's it's unacceptable, and we got to get better. So the only thing that's going to fix it is going out and winning the game next week.
The conservative play calling in the first half, was that more to ease Armani in, or was it something that you guys saw that they do defensively?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, we wanted to ease Armani into it, and we had no problem moving the ball in the first half. We just had problems with, once we got down there in some of those red zone situations, making some, unfortunate mistakes. So, again, that's who we are. I mean, we were number 15 rush offense in the country last year. We're going to run the football, and we ran the football well. When you look at it, there's pretty good balance, in what we did on the night. I mean, we ended up throwing for 220 and rushing for 334. So the balance was pretty good, and that's kind of the way we go about doing our business. Bottom line is we got to put points on the board when we get down to the red zone. I mean, you look at a night like this, where you end up losing by 3. Well, we missed 2 field goals we probably should have made. We probably shouldn't even be kicking those field goals. It probably should have been touchdowns. So, this is a game that, we gave away. I mean, we went out. I mean, hats off to them. I mean, they came in and did the things they needed to do. It's not taking anything away from them. But when you look at it, it's not like we weren't able to do things. We're just executing when it matters at certain times. We didn't do it.
How did you evaluate Armani?
I thought Armani played well. I mean, he had a couple of errant passes, but when you look at it on the night, I thought he did a really good job of making decisions, didn't put the ball in jeopardy, didn't throw interceptions, did a good job of extending plays and running the football at times, put the ball on the money a couple of times, with big passes. And, as far as his performance go, I mean, for a freshman starting his first game, I'd say he did a pretty darn good job.
And speaking about Armani Rogers, talk about his counterpart on the other side, Kaylen Newton. What did you see from him today?
My goodness. I mean, you look over at him. And, 194 yards, rushing, that's a heck of a night, And the thing about it is we didn't even make them have to throw the football. And that's a big disappointment. The one thing that, kind of perplexing to me right now is the one thing we've done a good job of is playing rush defense. I mean, when you look at the last 2 years, we've improved drastically in rush defense, over 100 and some odd yards a game from when we got here. Tonight it was the opposite. We defended the deep ball well. We struggled with that the last couple of years. Did a pretty good job in the passing game, but we were absolutely awful against the run. So, and he was a big reason for it. That 1-2 punch between, him and Phil Law was just, they did a hell of a job.
And another question about you guys in the rest of the game. Charles Williams went out in the first quarter, kind of favoring his right leg, still was able to battle through. What do you see from him moving forward?
Well, I got to talk to the doctor and see exactly what's wrong with him. He had a leg injury, so we took him out. But Lex came in, and that's the thing. We've got a bunch of backs, so I don't think it affected the outcome of the game. I think Lex and Xavier and those guys did a good job. So hopefully he's healthy and ready to go next week.
Any more? All right, thanks, guys. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.